Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel. Welcome to our Champions League Match Day 8 predictions. The final match day of what has been a crazy Champions League. A few more positions to be played for. Man City obviously in danger. Could a team like PSG drop out of the playoff positions? A lot of teams in and around those spaces there. It's going to be very, very exciting to see how that all ends up. Obviously, we've got teams that are definitely eliminated, teams that want to lock away top spot. A lot of exciting games to come for this match week. So very, very keen to get into it. Let's now get straight into our match week 8 Champions League predictions. Our first game is from England and Villa Park as Aston Villa hosts Celtic in an England-Scotland rivalry here. A big game, this one here. Both teams could drop into different positions the way results go. Obviously, Villa come off the back of that 1-0 loss away at Monaco. It means they're not purely safe in the top 8 at this current point in time. They haven't won in their last 3 games. They sit 9th currently, separated between the top 8 just by a goal difference between them and Leverkusen. So they've got a lot to play for in this game here. Obviously, for me in this one, that front two of Rodgers as well as Ollie Watkins are going to be the key players. When those two are firing, they're playing at a high level. When they're constantly involved in the way Villa go about attacking their football, that's when they look at their best. Also, Daniel Marlin from the flank. I think those 3 in particular, the spark they can bring, that can be the difference maker between them and Celtic in this game here. So look to those sort of 3 players to be the standouts for me in this one here. As well, looking at Celtic, they got the job done 1-0 at home versus Young Boys. Far from the most convincing result, but a good result nonetheless. They're unbeaten in the last 6 matches. They scored 12 goals in their last 5 games. So things are happening for the Celtic side. Obviously, the great news of Jota coming back to the club as well. He won't feature. He's injured at this current point in time, but good things are happening at the club at this current point. And for me, I said a lot so far in the Champions League, and they've been pivotal to all these games. It's that midfield 3 that's going to make the difference in this one here. Engels, McGregor, Hatate in the centre of the park. If they can match Yuri Tielemans, Boubacar Kamara, not allow these type of players to drive Villa forward, they can shut down Morgan Rodgers in there as well. It'll go a long way from Celtic being competitive in this game. You know, and Aston Villa are in great form. Domestically, Champions League, we saw the struggle last time out. There's a real ability to get at this Villa side. So I think that midfield 3, if you can win that midfield battle, it'll go a long way for Celtic winning this game of football. I think it's going to be super, super competitive. Obviously, Celtic are safe. They're locked in playoff position. Aston Villa could go into the top 8, but look to be a playoff side. So a lot to play for in many regards here. I think Celtic, though, get a result. It's a 2-2 draw here for me. I think Villa are going to be solid, but Celtic will match them, and I see a draw between these 2 sides. Our next game is between Barcelona and Atalanta, 2 of the most entertaining sides in European football at this current point in time. Obviously, Barca come off the back of that crazy, hectic, drama-filled 5-4 comeback win away at Benfica. Good vibes are rolling this club. It's currently 2nd in the Champions League. They haven't lost in their last 7 games, but yet to keep a clean sheet in their last 5. So they'll be trying to look to reinforce defensively, especially with the back 4 they've got with some quality players there. It's surprising they've kept a clean sheet in a long period of time. For me, we've seen it. Goals is the main source of their success at this current point in time. In particular, the play of Lamine Yamal and Rafinha from the flanks. They were pivotal in that turnaround last time out. They'll be pivotal yet again. Obviously, they come off the back of that 7-1 win on the weekend in La Liga. Goals is their identity. 101 goals scored at this current point in time, and they're going to keep it coming. And I think from those wide spaces, especially against Atalanta, and the way they can often throw numbers forward, there's a real chance for those wide players to control and win this game off their own boot. So look to those 2 to really stand out for Barcelona. In terms of Atalanta, smashed Sturm Graz 5-0 last time out. Back-to-back wins for them, following that up with a win against Como in Serie A. Just ending a little bit of a dodgy run of form, and they'd had 5 games without a win prior to that last 2 wins. So back on track for Atalanta. For me, the middle of the park's where they're going to be competitive here. Edison, Daron, those 2 bullies, they break the game up. They make it a scrap in there. They're going to have to be very, very physical, try and offset the likes of your Pedris and your Garbis in there, your chance creators, your ball players. If that happens, it's going to be a bit more of a competitive battle. But if the midfield area is controlled by Barcelona, then your Lewandowskis, your Lamine Yamals and Rafinha have a very easy day at the office. Big game for Edison Daron and making competitive in there. That'll go a long way for Atalanta being competitive. For me, you know, it's going to be a tough game to call. Obviously, both sides sit in the top 8. Atalanta can drop out, but they both look pretty locked away in that top 8 spot. I think it's going to be a real entertaining game. Both sides just showing what they're all about. And I think we're going to see goals. I've got a Barcelona 3-1 win here at home. Better players and just more experience for me in this competition gets them over the line in this one here. Move to Germany for our next game as Bayer Leverkusen host Sparta Prague. Leverkusen obviously heartbreak last time out, that 2-1 loss late on to Atletico Madrid. It ends their winning run they had going into that game. Then they draw on the weekend as well. So 2 back-to-back games without a win. They'll look to bounce back in this one here. And I feel like the chance creation is going to be the big thing here. How can they break down this Sturm Graz backline? I think it's going to come from the traditional roots of those wide wing-backs, Grimaldo and Frimpong, like they did last season. They'll be the difference makers from those wide areas, up and down the bar line, creating chances galore, potentially scoring chances themselves. We've obviously seen them cross the ball to each other and score on countless occasions. So look to those two to be the real keys and the turning factors in this game here for me. Obviously, Sparta Prague, a 1-0 loss last time out to AC Milan. They've put on a run of 5 consecutive CL losses, Champions League losses coming this game here. So they've really been struggling in the competition. Leverkusen looked set for a top 8 finish. However, can drop out in this game here where Sparta Prague are playing for nothing. So there's a bit of a difference in terms of what both sides are competing for. And that's such I see Leverkusen coaching this game. I think Patrick Schick gets on the score sheet. Florian Wirtz does what he does best. And Leverkusen get a 3-0 win here for me in this game. They're just too good at home as well. An easy win for Leverkusen in this one. We remain in Germany for our next game as Bayern Munich host Slovan Bratislava. Bayern Munich in some fantastic touch domestically, but come off a 3-0 loss to Feyenoord last time out in the Champions League. It has really been a mixed bag for them this competition. However, 11 goals in the last 5 games, 6 wins in the last 7 games. It's all been going well for them domestically. Well managed, well coached under Vincent Kompany. I think in this game here against a very vulnerable Slovan Bratislava side, I think Michael Olise and Harry Kane have a field day. Look to them to dominate the first 45 minutes and win the game in the first half here. I think there's so much talent in that final third. Think about Musiala in there as well. Potentially Leroy Sané to contribute. There's just too many names and too many big-time players for them to go down in this game here. So I think they walk it in the first half. Slovan come off that 3-1 loss to VfB Stuttgart. They're going to have to be strong at the back. The back four is going to be super tight to try and make it an interesting game. But I doubt they can really throw any punches in this game here. Obviously, Bayern unlikely, but can make the top 8 if they smash Slovan Bratislava and results go their way. But I think this is a bit of a dead rubber. Slovan Bratislava cannot obviously do anything in the competition, and Bayern look like they're destined for playoff football. With that being said, I think Bayern will put them to the sword 6-1. I've got this one ending up. I think Bayern in such great form turns in front of goal, and they make it count here versus Slovan Bratislava. Remain in Germany once more as Borussia Dortmund take on Shakhtar Donetsk in our next game. Obviously, Dortmund come off a very disappointing 2-1 loss away at Bologna last time out in the Champions League. It is now no win in their last 5 games, no clean sheet in the last 10 games, 12 goals conceded in the last 5 games. So all pointing in a negative direction. Obviously, Sahin now sacked as an interim manager taking charge. It's a whole lot of movement going on at Borussia Dortmund at this current point in time. For me, I think it's about competing, being tough to beat, being at the races, the back four being poor. But I think in this game here, if they want to be solid, if they want to win the game, a competitive midfield battle. That's led by Julian Brandt, the captain, Pascal Gross and Emre Can. If you can be a coherent group in there, cover off defensively, but be good in transition, drive the ball forward, and put together some great movements going forward and playing some solid attacking football, Borussia Dortmund have the talent to win this game. The front line's been working. We know Guirassy has been some fantastic form, but the back four midfield has just not worked. It's not been coherent. So look to that midfield to lead the turnaround in this game here. Looking at Shakhtar, they got an impressive 2-0 win at home versus Brest last time out. They've only picked up 2 wins in the Champions League so far in this campaign, and they'll want to keep improving, probably finishing a high note here versus Borussia Dortmund. For me, Kevin and Pedrinho in the flanks are going to be key to get at this weaker Borussia Dortmund backline. 4-5 at the back. It's been weak in wide areas. So those 2 wide wingers, they can get at this Borussia Dortmund backline. There's chances for goals. We know how leaky that defence is. So look to those 2 players to lead the Shakhtar Donetsk attack. It's going to be an interesting game. I think Borussia Dortmund really want to win. They obviously locked away that playoff spot, but a top 8 spot is on the line for them. So they'll have to be competitive. They'll want to turn around this form. And I think they will get a tough, hard-fought win. Going with a 2-1 Dortmund win here at home. A big occasion for them on a Champions League night. They get the result here for me. Our next game sees the French side Brest take on Real Madrid. Two sides in quite similar positions in the league table. Who would have thought? Obviously, Brest come in off the back of a 2-0 loss away at Shakhtar Donetsk. It puts them well and truly, I guess, in the mixer of those playoff positions. They have won their last 4 domestic games, despite losing their last game in the Champions League, though. So they're coming in with some decent run of form. They play some solid football. We know they've been punching above their weight in this competition here, so they're not going to play fearful against the Galacticos in Real Madrid here. For me, though, it's going to be built off that defensive unit. You're going to have to be very, very solid and pick your moment. So Bizot in goal and Di Chardonnay at the back. That sort of three, the two centre halves and the goalkeeper Bizot are going to have to be at tip-top A-star type level in this game here, because Real Madrid attacking football has been improving week on week, and we'll get to them in a minute, but their attackers are in fine form. So look to that sort of Brest core at the back. They try and keep it tight, keep it compact, and stay in the game. Similar to what Lille did to Real Madrid a few match days ago. Be defensive, and things might happen on the break versus Real Madrid side. Looking at Real, they dominated 5-1 win versus Salzburg last time out. It's 4 wins in a row for the side, 17 goals in the last 5 games. As I said, goals are coming in major clumps at this current point in time. Yes, they'll be without Vinicius Jr., but Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham have been fantastic in recent games. And I think their link-up just in general will be the difference making this game here. Mbappe coming off a hat-trick. Jude Bellingham loves Champions League nights. Those two together in a game that Real Madrid desperately want to win to try and push further up the league table is going to lead to, I think, a disaster for this Brest side. I think those will be too good in this one here. Obviously, Real avoid the threat of elimination. Well, Brest, they do have a slim chance of the top 8. So both sides are going to be competing and wanting to rise up the table in many regards. But I think Real Madrid have got too much talent, too much quality, and too many goals in their game. Got a Real Madrid 4-1 win here away from home at Brest. They get the job done. They continue to climb this Champions League table to a bit more of a respectable position come the end of it. Dinamo Zagreb and AC Milan is our next game here. Obviously, Zagreb well and truly beaten 3-0 away to Arsenal last time out. They've had a mixed bag of results in recent times. Last 5 games seen 2 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses, showing, I guess, the inconsistency of the side and, I guess, the ability not to compete with some of the big boys in the Champions League. In this one here, I'm looking at the wide areas, the ability to get at this Milan back line. We know Teo Hernandez has been in poor form. Calabria struggling in recent weeks. We know the centre halves have been in good form for Milan. So the wide areas like Pajaka, Stojkovic, these type of wide wingers, they can potentially exploit the weaknesses in this AC Milan back line, because down the middle, they're just too solid for me, especially with Fofana protecting that 2 centre-backs there. So look to the wide areas, Pajaka, Stojkovic to try and get crosses into the box or get in behind these fullbacks and get goals in that direction with direct running from those wide spaces. So they're going to be the key players for Dinamo Zagreb, as well as looking at AC Milan, a 1-0 win at home versus Girona last time out. Milan 3 wins and 1 draw, in their last 5 games. They've been much more competitive, late winners in recent weeks. You know, it's also improved under the new manager Conceição. They're still a team that lacks a lot of, I think, ability and confidence to play freely. So it's going to be a competitive game no matter what. Looking at the key players, I think it's Reinders and Pulisic for me. You know, they've been so influential in this Champions League run. So many clutch moments for Tijani Reinders. And then for Christian Pulisic, goals have come in bags for him. Got one on the weekend. I think he'll be influential yet again in this game here, in a very important game for both sides, because Zagreb is still fighting for one of those playoff spots, and Milan could potentially secure a top 8 spot if they get a win. So both sides are going to be highly competitive. It's going to be an intense game here, and I think Milan just get over the line in this one here. Going with a hard-fought 2-0 win away from home to secure their side a top 8 berth and automatic qualification into the round of 16. Move to Spain for our next game as Girona take on Arsenal. Obviously, Girona beaten 1-0 away from home last time out by Milan. Much more competitive, and they've been more competitive in recent Champions League games. However, they've only picked up 1 win in the league phase and have gone on a run of 3 losses in a row in all competitions. So it's been a struggle. It's been a dry patch for the club after a good little turnaround through the Christmas period there. For me, with nothing to lose, I'm looking at the progressive players like the Danjuma, Segankov, Donny van de Beek, all playing in behind the centre forward. Show what you've got. take the game on. Michel's all about possession-based football, playing with speed in the final third, and a real ability to drive out back lines. And yes, Arsenal's a very, very solid defensive unit, but look to these three players to try and take the game on and potentially cause problems for this Arsenal side here. Looking at them, a dominant 3-0 win at home versus Dinamo Zagreb. Been a solid run of form in recent games. The last 4 games, they've sort of turned things around after that sort of disappointing 1-1 draw and penalty loss versus Manchester United in the FA Cup. I think it's coincided with Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Martinelli being more involved, being more present in games and putting in their better performances. So look to those two yet again to be heavily involved in the side going forward, because we know how good Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Urin Timber are defensively. I trust that back four. I trust Raya in goal. But it's about how they can produce attacking movements, how they can create goals in their game. And Martinelli and Trossard are going to be the ones to do that. So look to those two to carry the load up top. For me, Arsenal secured top 8. Girona secured not to qualify into the playoffs. It's a bit of a dead rubber, but I think Arsenal want to continue their good run of form. Mikel Arteta will instill that winning mentality. So look to them to win this game here. I've got them winning this one 3-0 away from home and making a real impact coming into the next phase of this competition. We move back to Italy as Inter host Monaco in our next game here. Obviously, Inter getting an important 1-0 away win versus Sparta Prague last time out. They are unbeaten in the last 5 games, including 3 clean sheets in that time. So defence is their identity. And it's still, I believe, only 1 goal conceded in the Champions League this season. Despite only scoring 8 goals, they are still amongst that top group. And it's, as such, in this game here, yet again, I'm looking to that back line, that back 3 in particular, Bastoni, De Vrij, and alongside probably the likes of Pavard as a central back 3. These guys will be solid yet again. They're the foundation of what Inter Milan do. That's how they build out from the back, how they stay nice and compact, and they protect that goal there as well. It's been clean sheets, it's been defensive identity, and it's been, I guess, accountability defensively, which has been the calling card in recent weeks. So look to those 3 to be very, very important this one here. Monaco, obviously, they come back at that 1-0 hard-fought win at home versus Aston Villa last time out. 2 wins on the bounce for the side, despite a rough run of form coming into the new year. So I want to continue that great run of form into this game here. For me, Ben Seguir, Ekaluche in the wide spaces, these sort of spark players, the X factors, look to them to try and make an impact in this game here. We know those wing backs for Inter Milan can push on. They're not very vulnerable defensively. They're normally very, very solid defensively. But if there's any way to get at this back line, try and avoid the central back 3 and play in the wide areas. So look to those 2 to make an impact in this game here. For me, Inter not 100% secure top 8. Monaco looking to lock in that playoff spot. So both teams will want to win. They'll want to further their chances in the Champions League. I think, though, at home, with how good Inter have been in this competition, they win this game 2-0 here for me. Monaco just not as experienced and haven't seen as many of these Champions League nights as Inter Milan have. We remain in Italy as Juventus take on Benfica. Obviously, Juventus comes back with another boring 0-0 draw away at Club Brugge last time out. They've only won 1 game in their last 7 all competitions, and obviously come off the back of their first league loss last time out. So a tough little run for Thiago Motta and Juventus at this current point in time. For me, chance creation has been the problem. The calling card that they've tried to pull on. And I think in this one here, when Juventus play their best football, Tion Koopmeiners as well as Yildiz in the wide spaces have been their better players, more involved, making things happen. So look to those 2 to carry some of the attacking load, because defensively, organisation-wise, they've been okay, but goals have really been hard to come by, and we saw that last time out versus Club Brugge in the Champions League. So look to those type of players to make a real imprint in this game here if Juventus go on to win it. Benfica, it was a heartbreaking 4-5 loss last time out to Barcelona. We know about all the controversy there. In the last 2 fixtures, however, they've won these last 2 games between these 2 clubs. So they've got a bit of a history in this fixture, and they're hopefully trying to continue that on in this one here. Only winning 2 of the last 5 games, though. It's been a tough run of form from Benfica, both domestically and in the Champions League, and they want to bounce back here. For me, Di Maria and Pavlidis, these sort of 2 forward players, we saw how they scored goals versus Barcelona. They're going to have to score goals here versus Juventus, because Juventus don't score many. If you can score 2 or 3, you're likely to win this game of football. So those 2 are very, very important on top. If they can find the back of the net, especially the first goal, would be pivotal for them winning this game of football. With that being said, both teams looking to lock in that playoff position spots. Both teams are likely to end up there. No real pressure in this game here, but they both want to find some form and get a big win here. I think Benfica have an upset here. I think they win in Turin. I've got a Benfica 3-1 win here away from home, consolidating that playoff spot here for me. Move to France for our next game as Lille take on Feyenoord. Obviously, Lille come off that very, very competitive 2-1 loss away at Anfield last time out, and they could have nicked a draw or 3 points in that one there. They were super, super competitive, and it's been a real bright spark in a dull period for the club. Only one win in their last 5 games, consecutive 2-1 losses for the club. So they really want to bounce back here and will desperately want to win in this one versus Feyenoord. For me, the X-Factor type players like Angel Gomez as well as Jonathan David up top will be pivotal to break down this Feyenoord side, who equally have been in better form defensively. So look to those sort of spark players in the final third, try and make things happen and exploit some holes in the Feyenoord back line. Obviously, they come off the back of a superb win last night in the Champions League. 3-0 versus Bayern Munich. It is now 2 wins and a draw in their last 3 Champions League games. So they are absolutely thriving in this competition at this current point in time. And for me, the key player is Jimenez, the man who led the line versus Bayern Munich so well with those 2 goals, who was a constant threat and figure and put a real pressure on that back four. Obviously, Lille, we saw what Mohamed Salah did, we saw what Liverpool did. They put that back four under pressure and they eventually cracked. So I look to Jimenez up top to be that real danger in the final third, supported by the likes of Paxiao from the wide areas as well. This one here, both teams looking to try and secure playoff football. However, could both have the ability to finish in the top 8 if all things go their way. So both teams will definitely want to win, and both teams definitely want to be at their best here. With that being said, though, I think with the run of form Lille have had and the form that Feyenoord currently have, I'm going to back the Dutch side in here to win away from home. Got another 2-1 win here for Feyenoord, beating Lille in their own backyard. Moved back to England here for our next game as Man City take on Club Brugge. This is one of the bigger games for this final match, considering the permutations for both these clubs here. Obviously, Man City let go of another 2-goal lead last time out, a 4-2 loss away at the Parc des Princes. There's now 21 goals, though, in the last 5 games, winning 5 out of the last 7 games. So they have been in good form with just 2 blips in between some of those great wins there. For me, it's the attacking players, Phil Foden, Erling Haaland, Omar Marmoush, they're going to be pivotal yet again. They destroyed Chelsea. They've been in great form in league football. Look to them to have a massive game here to try and tear apart that Club Brugge back line and lead this Man City side, because goals have been their answers to victory. So look to those leaders of the side, especially in the final third, to make a big impact on this game here. Looking at Club Brugge, played out a 0-0 draw versus Juventus last time out. It's now run of 20 games without a loss, and it's been very, very impressive, this run of form they're currently on. For me, Ordonez, Michele at the back, the 2 centre-backs, we need to have another big game to shut down like Erling Haaland, Marmoush, Foden, Savinho, whoever plays in the final third there. Got to keep it compact if you're Club Brugge. It could potentially cause one of the biggest upsets in this modern Champions League by knocking Man City out. Obviously, Brugge are set to qualify in the playoff spots, but City desperately need this result. So they're going to come out all guns blazing. Club Brugge want to continue, though, their unbeaten streak. 20 games, extended to 21. Whilst not losing, the Man City's a massive tick in their box. They want to be competitive in this one here as well. We know how vulnerable Man City are, especially in transitional play. So it's going to be a great game to watch. I think, though, Man City do go over the line. The desperation, Pep's legacy in the line, they do get the win here. Going with a 3-1 Man City win to secure their spot in the playoff stages of the Champions League. Move to the Netherlands for next game as PSV take on Liverpool in the next one here. PSV producing a massive 3-2 win away at Red Star last time out. A real character-building win there. It's 14 goals in the last 5 games, 3 wins in their last 4 Champions League games. It's all going very, very well for the Dutch side. And for me in this game here, I look to that middle area of the park. Vermaelen, Sabari, can they match Liverpool's great midfield intensity, great midfield pressing and ball-playing ability? If they can, it'll be a really, really competitive game, especially considering they're playing in front of their home fans. But if they get overrun in that midfield area there, Liverpool can control the pace of the game and dictate the game, play on their terms, and it'll go a long way for Liverpool winning this game of football. So really, really important that PSV make it a scrap in the middle of the park there and match the quality of the likes of Bosley, McAllister, as well as Gravenberch in the middle of the park there. Looking at Liverpool, beat Lille 2-1 at home last time out to continue their perfect run of the Champions League. And they're unbeaten in the last 5 games. They conceded only 3 goals in that time as well. All things are pointing in the right direction for the club after a mini blip over that December period. For me, once again, a defensive display is what they'll want to see here, especially away from home. Virgil van Dijk, Yarrow Kwanzaa, keep it tight, keep it compact, and Liverpool can go perfect across these 8 Champions League games. For me, Liverpool wanted to finish in that top spot. PSV already locking off that playoff spot. I think I can see Liverpool winning then. 3-1 win here away from home. Continue their great run of form. Potentially some new goal scorers. Chiesa likely to start in this one here, considering how Liverpool are qualified in the top 8. And I think Liverpool, though, their talent, too much to handle for this PSV side. RB Salzburg and Atletico Madrid as our next game here. Obviously, Salzburg beaten well and truly by Real Madrid 5-1 last time out. Only one win in the league phase so far in the Champions League. They've been quite underwhelming in many regards there. And I think in this one here, there is a slight chance you can get a result, but Atletico are switched on. So look to play on the break. Utilise the wide areas. Gluck and Capaldo, potentially get at Atletico in that way, because they're going to have to be the aggressive Atletico in this game here. Obviously, they got that beautiful 2-1 win late on versus Leverkusen last time out. However, it's a mixed bag results in recent times for Atleti. 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss in the last 3 games in domestic and continental European competitions there. For me, though, clinical finishing is going to be the key. Julian Alvarez and Antoine Griezmann, they're going to finish off the chance they get, especially considering Salzburg are just there to just cause some problems, be defensive, potentially offset what Atletico trying to do. And Atletico, they don't create many chances, so it's important those two finish them off when they get the opportunity. I think it's going to be a real ugly scrap of a game. We know Atletico like to play their football. Obviously, they're almost locked into top 8 spots, so they haven't got much to play for. Salzburg are definitely eliminated, so it's a bit of a dead rubber, this one here. But Atletico will want to win this game of football, and I think I can see them doing it and doing it just. A 1-0 Atletico win away from home here to secure that top 8 position for the club. Move to Portugal for next game as Sporting take on Bologna. Sporting obviously beaten by Leipzig 2-1 away from home last time out. They've only won 3 of their last 5 games, however, only conceding 3 goals in that time though. So defensively looking much better in recent weeks in trying to refine some of that great form they had under Ruben Amorim. For me in this one here, Trincao, Gyökeres, like I've said in most of these Champions League games, they're going to be the key players. They're so dynamic, they're so dangerous in the final third. Look to them to be the difference makers against a very, very robust and challenging Bologna back line here. Looking at Bologna, a fantastic 2-1 versus Dortmund last time at the Champions League. They're unbeaten in the last 5 games in all competitions, but haven't hit a clean sheet in their last 6 games. So despite being a solid defensive unit, they do concede goals, and that could be an avenue which Sporting could try and exploit in this one here. For me, same as it was last week, Odegaard and Ferguson, those midfield dynamic players, the midfield players that have the X factor, ability to win games with their own foot. They're going to be the players for me. They're going to stand out for Bologna and try and make a real fist this game here, especially away from home. Obviously, Bologna are not playing for anything. Sporting have almost locked in those playoff spots, but they'll desperately want to win here to try and get this run of form going and get some momentum going as they push into the back half of the season. And I think they do get the win here. At home versus Bologna side that has nothing to play for. I think they get the win here, 2-1 here for me, and lock off that playoff position in the Champions League. Sturm Graz and RB Leipzig in the next game here. And this one is a dead rubber, unfortunately. Obviously, Sturm Graz come off that 5-0 demolition. They got beaten well and truly by Atalanta last time out. Only picked up the 1 Champions League win so far in the competition. So they'll want to try and add another win to that one here. For me, I looked at Jata and Boving up top. Can they be the difference makers, the strikers that can cause problems to this Leipzig side who have struggled defensively in recent weeks? So look to those who try and lead the line and try and cause problems here in this one. Leipzig, they won 2-1 last time out versus Sporting Lisbon at home. They're trying to, I guess, increase their credibility. It's been a real tough time in the Champions League, and they've yet to get a clean sheet in their last 8 games. So they're looking to try and potentially get a clean sheet and build a good all-round performance here, obviously with nothing to play for. I think, once again, Sesko and Openda up top. Can they have a massive game here? Can they make a statement? They'll look to those type of players to make a statement this game here and finish the Champions League on a high despite how poor it's been this season for them. Obviously, as I said, both teams nothing to play for. I think Leipzig, over the greater quality, get the result here. Back in a Leipzig 3-0 win here away from home at Sturm Graz. Our penultimate game is a massive one. VfB Stuttgart take on PSG here in Germany. Massive game for both these clubs. Stuttgart, a massive 3-1 win last time out at Slovan and Bratislava. Great recent form. Obviously came to an end though last time out on the weekend with a loss. However, it was 4 games prior to that where they'd won all games in all those competitions there. And against this PSG side that's so talented all over the park, but in particular in the midfield area, I'm looking at Carazor and Stiller. Can you be competitive? Can you offset PSG's control? Can you limit the control that likes a Ruben Neves, João Neves, alongside Warren Zaire-Emery have in the middle of the park? Because that will go a long way for you being competitive, potentially winning this game of football and avoiding elimination. So massive job for Stiller and Carazor in the middle of the park there, especially try and shut down João Neves in the centre of the park there. PSG, that famous massive comeback from 2 goals down to win 4 goals to versus Man City last time out. They're unbeaten in the last 12 matches and in some superb form right now. And simply put, Bradley Barcola is the X factor. He is the difference maker. He makes things happen. His pace, his direct running, alongside Ousmane Dembele, who likes to turn up in these big Champions League games. Those 2 wide players, for me, are just simply going to be the difference. Their quality, their spark, they're brilliant on the ball. That's the difference in this game here. Stuttgart don't quite have the ability to match up with these type of players, and that's why I see PSG winning this game. Stuttgart could drop into the relegation elimination zone if they lose this game and other results don't go their way. So they're going to be really competitive. They'll want to desperately at least get a point in this one here. And whilst PSG, they just want to lock off that playoff spot and finish on a high. I think PSG carry over that great momentum, that great form from that Man City win, and they win this one away from home 3-0 here, upsetting Stuttgart, and I think knocking them out of the competition. That brings us to our final game, which is also dead rubber. Young Boys taking on Red Star. Young Boys went down 1-0 at home versus Celtic last time out. They're still without a goal in their last 3 games, so they are struggling in that department there, and it's been a constant problem. They've been definitely, for me, the worst team in the Champions League so far this season. Red Star, a difficult 3-2 loss last time out to PSV in the Champions League. They've been competitive, however, in recent fixtures, going down by 1 goal to PSV and AC Milan. So I see them as the strongest side out of the 2 here. Obviously, both want to finish on a high note, potentially getting a win or a point to finish off their Champions League campaign. But I see Red Star getting a result here. I see them going away to Young Boys here and getting all 3 points. A 2-1 win here for me away at Young Boys for Red Star. With that being said, ladies and gents, that brings this prediction video for the Champions League to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a bit late and rushed and to get it all out, but I had all my predictions down there for this final match week. Obviously, every single game live on Wednesday night is going to be hectic. It's going to be crazy. Obviously, Man City, do they miss it? Do they make it? Does Stuttgart miss it or make it? A lot of teams on the brink there. Do Sporting potentially get knocked out? A lot of storylines to come from this final match day from the Champions League. And do Liverpool remain perfect in the competition as well? A lot of questions that come from this final match day. Absolutely cannot wait for it to get underway. Let me know some of your predictions in the comment section down below. Let me know your thoughts on my predictions in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, smash a like on it. Subscribe to the Players End channel for more content like this. And press that post notification bell so you know we upload more videos, podcasts, and reaction content here on the channel. With that being said, guys, hope you have a great day. Enjoy this mammoth night of Champions League action. And I'll see you guys in the video or podcast very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.